him down.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to get us on Facebook and it's messing me up here.
I know. Good. I was about to say good evening, everybody. Oh my God.
Good afternoon. It's one of those days.
Good afternoon. It is one of those days. I spilled last week's bubble tea mocha on the inside of my bag with my ring lights, my computer, and everything on my way down to the fabulous Pangea to do this show. So now I smell like coffee, and yeah, I don't know, maybe Mercury's in retrograde. And Tim is starting to explain, yeah, we've had an issue with Facebook.
Still on here, just a second. It says we're live, but I don't know if people can see it. That's the thing.
That's the thing. It says we're live. Well, Suze, who always tunes in, usually lets us know. Maybe we go to your Facebook page, Tim, huh?
That's where I'm at. I'm over there. Look. But anyway, you tell them, how was your week? Talk about your week.
All right. Tim's going to work on technical. I'm going to tell you how my week was. My week, first of all, that I'm going to start out just telling you we are over the moon. Our show got picked up by Roku. And now, yes.
And I just got it into public, so people should be able to see us.
Yes, people can see us. And this is great. And people can see us on Facebook, but we got picked up by Roku, which is huge. And we have 2 episodes that are up there now, Tim, and they'll be adding more, of course.
Yes, yeah.
Is it 2? And
there's 3 now. Yeah, we
have 3. Oh my God, but who's counting? But you said, tell me about. All right, the thing I did that was so over the top on Saturday, we've had the amazing Justin Fornell from the Discovery Channel on this show. He's an explorer from the Explorers Club. He's a TV host, but Justin really lives his life out there. He just will try anything. He's been buried alive in a coffin. He works in Justin does things. He swam from Canada to Greenland and he had sponsors to raise money. Who does this? Justin does. So every year he gives a party for the Bronx Pipe Smoking Society.
I love that.
Tell you guys, it's got very little to do with smoking a pipe. He gets this mansion called the Freeman Mansion up in the Bronx. It looks like an abandoned building. They are giving events there, but really for all intents and purposes, it's an abandoned building. So my girlfriend and I wanted to go to this event, and it was a game dinner. So, when you hear game, you're thinking like pheasant or venison. Oh, and you had to come in costume. It was like steampunk, movie star, whatever you wanted.
You don't mind that. You're
right. That was cool. But the Uber deposits us in front of what looked to me like a huge abandoned mental hospital
in the Bronx. I love it.
The neighborhood was dicey, and there were overgrown weeds like all out in front and everything. And there were wrought iron gates. It was Addams Family, but like an enormous Addams Family mansion. And the driver only spoke Chinese, and he was yelling at us in Chinese, get out, get out. And I'm not speaking him in English. I'm not sure this is the right address. Well, he threw us out of the taxi, and my girlfriend looks at me and says, this doesn't look right. I'm like, listen, we're here. We'll go for it. I'm like, keep your phone in hand in case we have to call 911 because we're being mugged. So we walk up this Primrose path, and we go. The building had construction all around it. There's a door open. I said, Cheryl, let's just do it. We open up the door. And we go in, and of course there are chefs running to and fro for this amazing evening because it's a game dinner, right? But I'm thinking venison or pheasant. No, here were some of the things on the menu: raccoon tortellini.
Oh my God!
Beaver vindaloo, snapping turtle ceviche, and truth be known, we started out with appetizers from the amazing Joseph Yoon, who is known as the insect gourmet chef. He's been all over the New York Times. He does incredible things with insects. However, not incredible enough for me. When you take and put not a locust. Well, yeah, it's like that, like a locust. When you put a bug on a piece of celery, even if you embellish it with creams and everything else, the minute I see those wings or see those legs, it just, I can't. So, we were so happy. They did end up serving for the main course. They, of course, served a real bear who came out like this.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. It was so wild. They had rice and beans, thank God. I immediately turned into a vegetarian at this thing. But I got to tell you, it was so fun. And the highlight, of course, they had a real witch who they flew up from Arizona. And we did Justin, they decapitated him on stage, not really, but the idea was he was going to go through some kind of rebirth, and he did on stage with the witch gave birth to him again on stage. And it was like something Lee Bowery would do, for any of you who remember Lee Bowery. It was great. She was screaming like with labor pains. I got to tell you, I haven't had such an out there experience, like maybe like, you know, in the 60s and 70s when you did LSD. It was like that, except we didn't do LSD. So yeah, that's like, I haven't stopped talking about it. Anyway, how are you, Tim?
I'm good. Firstly, welcome to If These Walls Could Talk.
Yes.
I'm Tym Moss. And you are?
And you are, who am I today? I am Wendy Stuart, and I'm very happy because Tym Moss, are you technically, like, do we think we solved the Facebook problem?
We're on. Yeah, we're live now.
We're live. Oh my God. Hi, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to
That's what I was saying. We can be seen, and then you were talking about Roku, and that's what you thought I was talking about. But anyway, yay, Roku. That's good. Now, let me get caught up here for just a second.
Yes.
Our guest, the wonderful, wonderful Lauren O'Brien, who's a dear friend of mine for many, many years. She's upstate, and I just noticed her her connection. She lost her connection.
Oh, okay.
And so she texted me, and she says she's trying to get back on. So we'll just talk for a couple minutes. How about that?
Well, we have no problem talking. So, Mr. Tym Moss, how was your week?
Well, just one second. Let me just finish texting her real quick.
Okay.
This is part of live TV.
We have so much to do with these streaming things. You know, people think it's easy. It's complicated.
Right. And one little thing affects the next, and it's like a domino effect. So let me just tell her, keep trying. But last Sunday I had a ball. Queen's Pride.
Yes, I saw you.
Pride. I had so much fun performing at Queen's Pride. I love Queen's Pride. It's such a great, the way they have it set up is
community.
Always such a great audience, and everybody's so appreciative, and they're dancing and having fun. And so Queen's Pride was one of the highlights of my week.
And what did you sing? Tell us the songs that you sang.
Well, I did. I started off with the comedy parody from Hairspray, Welcome to the 60s. Only I wasn't the 1960s. I was singing Welcome to my 60s, like where every few minutes I have to pee and
you pee a lot. I wasn't going to be the one to say it, but you said it first.
And and then I did I Want to Dance with Somebody, and the whole crowd was just dancing and singing along, and it was just so festive. It was so wonderful. Then on Monday night I went to City Hall. The New York City Council had their LGBT celebration, and it was just so nice, like being in the chamber of where the City Council meets and legislates, and it was so wonderful, and some great people got honored. And then our good friend Egypt LaBeija came out and turned the chamber of the New York City Council into a disco.
Fabulous.
She came out and just rocked the place.
It was so much fun. She's amazing. Tim, I have a question.
I got to see.
Wait, you had your face up on Facebook with someone from there. This guy was eye candy. He was some kind of politician. He was gorgeous.
Oh, probably Eric.
It was Eric Botcher?
Yeah, Eric Botcher. Oh, he's so handsome. He's just, he's the coolest guy, and I'm so glad he's there. He's been behind the scenes of politics for so many years. I kept telling him for years, you need to be on the front line. Honey, and I'm glad he did, because he knows what he's doing. He's doing everything right. He's wonderful. I love Eric
Botcher. He's adorable too.
Yeah, and he's very handsome. Yes,
he's a very handsome guy. Okay,
so I've got next week I've got the mayor. I'm going to be going to Gracie Mansion for the mayor's LGBT celebration, and I'm going to be in Philadelphia this weekend. Anybody in Philadelphia? We're in Upper Darby. I think we go on about 1 or 1:15 in the afternoon. Icavelli and I are going to do a little set. So in
Philadelphia, fantastic. What's the event you're going to be at?
Upper Darby Pride, I think, is what they're calling it. Yeah. Cool. And because Philadelphia got hit bad with the corporate sponsorship, there's no corporate sponsorship this year. So Ike and I are going down to just kind of help and lend a little show. a little fun.
And you just brought up something really big, that all over the country, there was a pullout of corporate sponsorship for all the prides. So it made it really hard for people. Everyone is operating on a shoestring budget. And of course, it's all tied into the upcoming election. And I'm not going to go off on that right now, but it's
disturbing.
It's disturbing, but we have things to celebrate.
Well, but also that's one thing. There were like warnings going out that everybody should be kind of vigilant and careful and keep an eye out this year at Pride events. And everybody is, but that's what I noticed at Queen's Pride, because that's always the first big Pride event here in New York. Yeah. Well, other than Staten Island, but is that everybody was kind of vigilant, but it was a party.
Fabulous.
Everybody was having a ball. That's the whole point. That's the whole point.
Right.
Of Pride, is to have fun.
Absolutely. So speaking of having fun, it's so fabulous that our guest that had disappeared from the stream magically reappeared, because you know what? She is fun. She's magic. She is a writer and performer, and she won the Fringe Festival Audience Choice Award for her show Lolo's Boyfriend, which, the quick synopsis, she finally gets to go on a tour. She's got her costumes, her platform shoes for her show, and the tour gets canceled partway through, and she finds herself back home in the suburbs in her parents' bedroom, which is all I'm going to tell you about that. But I totally love this girl from the minute I saw her picture. She is energy. She is light. She is goodness. She's a major talent. Please welcome Lauren O'Brien.
Yay.
Okay.
There she is.
Yay! I can see you. Thank you so much for that intro.
Of course.
I feel the same way about you, Wendy and Tim.
You guys you're great, and thank you. We were able to get you back on the stream.
I know. I got scared. That means it's going to be an amazing show. When there's an obstacle.
It's going to be, and people are already commenting, Tim. So you are on Facebook. You made it happen.
We're live.
Is just magical. We're live. We haven't been on Facebook in a couple of weeks. I don't know how Tym Moss made it happen, but Tym Moss is a person that can make it happen, and you know that, Lauren, because you and Tim go back how far?
Oh yeah.
What was it, like 2011? We met at a party at
I can't think of her. Not Alexa. I can't think of her name. The PR.
Ariel Hyatt from
Ariel. Yes, Ariel's.
Yeah, that was a fun.
Out in Brooklyn. That was so fun.
That was a fun show. Back when I was I had a kind of rock poetry band. It was like Patti Smith.
Fierce.
Meets the Smashing Pumpkins.
A rock poetry event.
Yes.
I got to basically scream with this badass rock band behind me.
That's cool. I would love to do that.
She would get up and just go off on this poetry while the band behind her is like, whoa,
I love that.
Fierce. So fierce.
It was so, like, the musicians were incredible. Like,
how amazing is that? And that's where the two of you met, which is great.
Yep.
Must have been kismet, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So, I love Tim's voice. It just cuts right to the heart.
I love that you said that, because that's true. It does cut right to the heart, because it is really filled with emotion. And even for me, Tim, when you perform, I'm immediately like glued, not because it's you and I know you. It's a heart. You know what I'm saying? People can be technically vocally correct and not make any emotion well up in you. It's like, well, even when you do your funny one, Welcome to the 60s, it is just so hilarious and encompassing. And I always look at the audience around me, and they're grinning from ear to ear, whether they're 60 or not. It is just, that's called, you know what? That's called talent. And I love that. I love that you said that. So, Lauren,
I appreciate that very much. But speaking of talent,
yes,
Lauren
let's talk about you, Lauren. You're a writer and a performer.
Yes. Well, I started out as an actress. I started acting. So
you still are an actress.
Oh, but yes. But I started out as just an actress, and I did regional theater. I was in Angels in America and To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh, wow.
Regional in Syracuse State.
Uh-huh.
So you did that in Syracuse State. Oh my God! But to be in that show, Lauren, that's
incredible. I was in an avant-garde theater company with Polina Klimovskaya. Do you guys know Mabu Mines and those underground New York City? I really was into that scene for a long time. And then I was audition, and Terra Incognita is the avant-garde theater company. It's incredible. Polina Klimovskaya is amazing. And then but she's the center of it, of course, like she leads and we co-create. But I really wanted to make my own work.
Make your own art.
I was going to all these, I got really into the underground art and music scene. And I was so in love and sort of jealous of the musicians because they got to write their own songs, book shows, have a one-on-one connection with their fans, and book their own tours and be in the driver's seat. And I was jealous.
Well, this is a very good point here, Lauren, because I want to elaborate on this. What made you feel as an actress up until that point that you weren't in the driver's seat? What contributed to that? You were doing all this cool work, right? All this avant-garde, underground, New York work. So what was making you feel jealous of musicians and like you weren't in the driver's seat?
Well, the avant-garde theater company was very cool, and I co-created a new work called Ophelia Tapestry, and Polina Klimovskaya really taught me, I call it psychophysical emotional technique.
I read that. I'm like, what?
Well, it's like this psychophysical emotional integrity. We would do these deep, almost meditations on different parts of our body and allow characters to come from that, or meditate on a photograph or one line. And move from that, create characters from that, create dialogue from that.
From a meditation.
Yeah, the deepest work. And I had seen Polina actually taught at Brooklyn College and directed students there. And I saw a show that she directed there, just a student show. And I had this visceral response to it. It was like in my bones, in my cells, in my gut, in my heart, like my full body responded to it. And I was like, I want to work with this woman. And then I was in her company. So it was a real learning and co-creative process. But then it paid very little, if anything.
All that stuff does. I mean,
I always had good jobs. And then I was auditioning, and I got to do some cool tours in regional theater, but I was constantly auditioning, and you know the deal. They would look at me, and I feel like the industry has gotten bigger hearted and more embracing, but even me, like you look at me and I am this blonde white chick, but they would be like, you have moles on your cheek. We should get rid of those. There's a lump on your nose. Like, please consider getting your nose fixed. Please.
Oh, I have all of that. Believe me.
and like, now I'm like, maybe. But at the time I was very like, well, I'm not really into surgery. So so I was like not going. And they were
Lauren,
like,
you do not touch your face. You are beautiful.
Perfect.
And it jumps off the page and it's jumping off the screen here. You're absolutely beautiful. And
you are
beauty,
perfection.
Right, has expanded what beauty is.
Yeah,
You look at someone, Zendaya is beautiful, but
oh my God, I love
20 years ago, they would have been thin your nose, do this, do that.
Yeah.
So what do we learn from this? You're perfect just the way you are, Lauren.
Thank you. I knew I loved you from cyber stalking you. Which I did, like I've told them before, like I've been cyber stalking Wendy and Tim, even though Tim and I go, but I feel like I have a future in stalking because I really went all out and I loved it. But anyway, so there was what I look like. And then there was also, quite frankly, I didn't like a lot of the scripts and I would have to work, you know how much energy it takes to learn an audition piece to get there. And then I'd be like, I can write something better than this because I'm
right.
a catty little bitch. I was like, Mama wanted to try her hand at this. And I was so kind of like, I call it being fuckless. Like I think it's safe to say I'm not a very good singer. Like it's more that I have a lot to say. you know? And I was doing poetry open mics. I was friends with a music producer named Mark Godwin, and he came to see me do whatever. I was featured. It was a big day for me. I was featured at an open mic. And Mark Godwin asked if I'd write lyrics for a band he was developing with, maybe you guys even know Janice Robinson. She had some like dance hits, and he was developing this band and asked me to write lyrics. So I wrote lyrics, and then they had me in the band doing poetry with them. And
it's so cool.
I was just over the moon to go from like nothing to being in a band with these people I'd been so admiring. And then Mark came with me to buy my first guitar, and I started learning guitar. And it was my dad. I love my dad so much. He was always so encouraging, but he was like, to be a musician, you really have to start early. I mean, maybe that's true to a certain extent, but I learned guitar well enough to write some, you only kind of need a few chords, right?
Okay, sorry, that's completely impressive. I cannot gloss over that. What were you, like in your early 20s?
Yeah.
That's like,
because I saw you, when I first saw you, you came walking out with a guitar on.
There you go.
And I always thought you just always knew how to play a guitar. I didn't know you had just learned.
It was sheer willpower. And also the other thing Tim and I have done together, everyone knows Tina Turner, right? I'm a big fan. And if you saw in her movie when she chants Nam-myoho Renge Kyo, and she credits that with giving her the energy to leave the abusive relationship and reignite her career and get her power back, I was really inspired by that. And then a random woman told me about the chanting, and I'm kind of open to suggestion. So I actually chanted about I was like, I want to be in a rock band, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo. I want to learn guitar, Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
Nam-myoho Renge Kyo.
I gotta go on tour. And then so I had, you both have had, it's so fun as an artist to recreate ourselves. And
absolutely.
So I was in the Avant-Garde Theater Company, did Regal Theater. I had the rock band, then I had a punk cabaret show, mostly because it's sometimes these weird details, because I had 5-6 people behind me in the band, which was amazing. But it was, it's hard to get even one other person in a room. So I was like, I need to pare this down. And then I co-wrote with some incredible musicians. And then Lisa Bianco, who's such a badass. She's the full package, so talented, so sexy. We toured Germany together.
Yeah.
I think this is such a great story. But Lauren, you're the full package too.
Thank you, Mama.
You are the full package. Tim, I think it's time for the video.
I was just going to say, but the thing I love with Lauren is you want to try something, you just try it. You do it. You throw your whole self into it. And I love that. Right. Well, we do have a video that we want to take a look at real quick, which will kind of set up the next segment. Let's watch. Now, is this from Lolo?
This is actually from the Punk Cabaret.
Okay,
it's a great video.
I want to call you when I get really high.
Okay.
And it's we're working. I feel like the child that doesn't have her science project ready, because we're working on this. Our website, lolasboyfriendshow.com, is going to be ready end of this week, beginning of next week, and we're almost done with a sizzle reel. But for now, we have this piece from the Punk Cabaret show, which
I love it. But this is part of your history.
You, Lauren. It's who you are. It's
exactly.
fabulous.
It's part of who you are and your evolution, and I love that. So let's take a look at Lauren O'Brien.
Hello?
I wanna call you when I get really high. I wanna call you when I'm losing my mind. I wanna call you when I'm tripping like this, to say the things that I'll never admit. Jerry told me that the ride's really smooth. I go on it 'cause it's something to do. The room is flashy and these people are cool. The crowd is focused on me, but I'm thinking of you. 'Cause I wanna call you when I get really high. I wanna call you when I'm losing my mind. I wanna call you, but look at the time. We're all together, Becca's laughing like sin. Rolled up towels past wood to get in. Kitchen cat, the beat comes, I dance floor. I love the crazy rhythm, but I love you more. And it pulls me, come join us in bed. Silky sheets and 500 count thread. One more hit, think of you, this should end. But truth or dare, he grabs my hair, now he wants head. Cause I wanna call you when I get really high. I wanna call you when I'm losing my mind. I wanna call you, but look at the time. I wanna call you when I'm thoroughly baked. Was it the cookies or the brownies I ate? Please tell me neither one's a mistake. Hey there, honey, could you please call me back? Tuck the blue pill and the shit's really whack. Floors are sloping sideways, walls got crazy cracks. I'm having trouble breathing, it's a panic attack. I wanna call you when I get really high. I wanna call you when I'm losing my mind. I wanna call you, but look at the time. I wanna call you as I'm getting undressed. Feel my heart pounding right through my chest. Don't you FaceTime me now, I'm a mess. Cause I wanna call you when I get really high. I wanna call you when I'm losing my mind. I wanna call you, but look at the time. I wanna call you when I'm thoroughly baked. Was it the cookies or the brownies I ate? Please tell me neither one's a mistake.
I mean, I am like even at a loss for words. It's everything from the lyrics to the backup boys to the animated flying saucer and the Oh, I have to hear all about this video, like the concept from the beginning. Lauren, you are hilarious. I hope you did this song a gazillion times every time you performed. It's brilliant.
Okay, thank you. Well, I have to give a shout. I co-wrote that with extremely talented Mitch DeStefano. And then Brad Brown, who's an old friend of mine, saw me do it in Wilmington, and he made that video clearly, like, we made it very I think he shot it on his iPhone, but we had so
Stop.
Yes. And we just had such a fun day hanging out on the beach and shooting that. Oh, should I give you the backstory?
I want the whole, yes, Tim and I want that. Yeah.
Well, it was actually, I did the, it was, now I forget that, it was the, something like the Wonders of Hemp Festival, the Joy of Hemp Festival. I played some songs there, and I was fulfilling my rock star dreams. I just played some acoustic songs. And then the people who ran the festival saw me play, and they were friends with one of my friends, and they asked if I would hang out with their hotel room. So I was like, I get to live my rock star dream.
Yes, really.
And then they were like, oh, wait, am I allowed to talk about this? They like, want to do some compressed mushrooms? And I was like, yeah, I want to do some compressed mushrooms. Or wait, should I say no, I didn't? Should I say no, I didn't?
Live your truth, honey.
Tim.
So we did some mushrooms, and then like I was playing more of our songs. And for like a girl who hadn't been playing guitar very long, I was like happier than a piggy in mud or whatever. I was so happy. And then there was a dear friend of mine. You remember Kelly Dwyer, right, Tim? My buddy. We used to play around listening all the time.
I think, yeah.
Well, I was so high, and I just really wanted to call. I wished Kelly was there. I just wanted her there, and I kept calling her. And she was like, "You just hold on to this experience, sweetie. And when you're doing the show, you just tap into high shrooming Lauren and you take this
high shrooming Lauren. This song is so. There are cannabis festivals all over the country now. And this song, I mean, you should be booked at every single one of them. That's what I wanted to tell you.
Yes.
As really, this is such an incredible piece. Everything about it. I loved it.
I'm so happy.
Oh my God,
so much
it's so
fun.
great. It's so great.
Again, that's what I love about you is you can just create joy and happiness of any situation, you know?
And silliness. It's so everything.
It's great.
The guys in the background.
Yes.
I mean, I can't
that
even.
Beatles thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Either the Beatles or the Monkeys, you know, with that.
They're so cute.
Great.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Well, yeah, it's a wonderful piece. I can't believe it. I can't believe it was shot on an iPhone. Amazing.
Oh, yeah. I love that you're calling the high song a wonderful piece.
It is.
Well, it's so interesting too because it feeds into Lolo because Lolo is definitely inspired by my life, but she became her own entity.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
She's kind of like my daughter or something like that.
Right. Well, you did give birth to this show. Now, explain Lolo. It is a show that you're doing, and you just won. Tell us about Lolo.
Well, we just won, directed by the magnificent Christine Bacor, who we love. And we won the New York City Fringe Festival Audience Choice in April. We're so over the moon. And I had actually just reminded a little, after I did, you know, not to go, I'll give the 60-second version so I came back from touring Germany and Lisa was like, let's book more shows. And I was like, no, I want to do something else. I want to write a play. And he was like, interesting. And then shortly after that, you knew Jackie Sheeler, right, Tim? I don't think you knew Wendy. Jackie Sheeler, who was one of my best friends and writing mentors. Older sister / mom / bodyguard. Like she was real old New York, covered in tattoos, but heart of gold. And everyone was like scared of her. I always felt safe. Everyone said they were a little scared of Jackie, but Jackie was this magnificent woman who overcame a lot of obstacles to, you know, she overcame drug addiction and homelessness and abusive childhood to become the head of IT at Yahoo.
Yeah. Okay, that is like an amazing story. Amazing. I love that.
So, and she published books. She created a recording studio in her home. She always wanted to write a show about her life. And she, you know, in the end, she was overcome with, you know, depression and her own mental health issues and she lived her own life. But she always wanted to write a show. So I did my chanting about it was a really horrific time in my life. And I chanted for her spirit, for her to be wherever she is now. I believe in the eternity of life.
So do we.
And also to turn poison into medicine somehow.
Yes.
And I chanted a lot for her, for us. And I feel, even now I have the chills talking about her, I feel this deep connection with her spirit. And this peace around her, because I just chanted so much for her. And I started writing about our friendship, which was sort of deep, and we were sort of these unusual companions because I look like this. I mean, I've got a little edge, but I can go either way. And she was really old New York, tax, and everything. People were like, you two we were so close. So I started writing about her, and I wrote the show that she always wanted to write.
That backstory is amazing. I think you must have been channeling her.
Yes.
Yeah.
That show won the Fringe Festival in 2020.
Right. That was the one. That was Lolo and Jax.
Yeah, Jax and Lolo. And then it was extended. We had attention from producers. I was like, this is a real poison into medicine experience because I'm feeling like I'm discovering talents I didn't know I had, and I'm helping her fulfill her mission even after death. It felt so good to me. And then, of course, we all know what happened. We won the award, I think it was March 14th, 2020.
Right at the start of the pandemic.
So so many worse things happened than that during that time. But so may the poison of that time become medicine. But for me, it was really breaking. And I had a few other tragedies in a very short time. My mother was diagnosed with cancer. He passed away shortly before the pandemic. And I was hurt really badly in this freak accident in the parking lot of the hospital. I wish
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Why did I not know this? Tell me what happened.
I'll tell you what happened. I wish it was a better story. Like, this is what I wish.
No, but these are the stories, Lauren. These are the stories we love to tell on this show.
They're real.
This is the real. Now we're getting into like the real stuff, right?
Yeah, the deep stuff. Because it's also, I know my personality too. I know, like, I am warm and I'm always happy to see people. But I have the mud and the guck too. But what I wish happened was, was that I had been going through so much stuff. I went back to Germany, rented a car, got drunk, went on the Autobahn, it flipped over, and then I determined to change my life. That's not what happened. What happened was I had a suitcase in the trunk of my sister's car. And, you know, we had just been told my father probably wouldn't live very much longer. So we were both in this state. She had to pick up her kids. I had to get my suitcase because she was going one way, I was going another way. And I leaned down to get it. And then, incidentally enough, I had also fractured my ankle and tore my hamstring shortly. My whole life, I was so healthy. And then all these...
Everything.
So she had put it in there. I leaned down to get it. And she goes, oh, it's not in there. And then she closed the trunk of the car on my head.
Oh, my God.
Standing up. So... it was really, I mean, it seems like, it was really, I mean, I was seeing double. I couldn't read. I was nauseous. I was.
Oh my goodness.
That's a concussion.
Really, and it was also like, it was like the king. I was vomiting. I couldn't go on the computer or write without feeling really, really sick. I couldn't think. I couldn't imagine. Part of my practice, and I kind of want to ask you, just as an aside, I want to know, you two have such good energy, like how in this crazy world?
Same thing. What you were talking about, I just lost my husband to cancer. He died from the immunotherapy. He got pneumonia. I kept him going 1.5 years longer than he was predicted. But I tell you this, and I share this, because we all have the thing in common. And Tim has hit the pits and did a whole cabaret show about it.
Brutalized.
Right. So, but that's what we have. We can, like, the worst things. And that's called life, and it hits people.
Some people will live in that and let it drag them down and do all of this. We all,
we're not
included, yourself included, are ones that will learn from it and move on and become stronger from it.
Learn, it's like the bionic woman comes back stronger, better, faster, more accomplished. We all, but that's what it's about, and it's not something you can fake. It's got to be who you are. Yeah. Right. So you had this. I'm listening to what you're telling me.
Wow. So how long was that
injury, which is really serious?
That was in 2019, and it took me. I still struggle with migraines, but at least the worst part was I think I couldn't think. And part of what I like to do, I love visualizing, and I just couldn't imagine.
Oh gosh,
so bizarre. And I just had to rest. I did everything, and I still get migraines, but it's part of. One thing with the Lotus Sutra that I practice that I love so much in the Buddhism, and Tim and I have chanted together, I practice the Lotus Sutra. And the Lotus Sutra, the metaphor is the lotus flower only blossoms out of a muddy swamp. It doesn't get to the top of
That's exactly what you're describing.
It's just like the muck. So I'm like you were saying, I could say, all right, I'm going to give up and one more obstacle and I can't take it. Or I could just decide to take one step forward. And I have a Buddhist teacher that I love, Daisaku Ikeda, and he's always encouraging us to just take a step, take a step, take a step. And so the pandemic happened, the show was shut down. For a long time, I couldn't read or write. I just was writing longhand, which I barely know how to do. And I was like, I'm going to write. I always wanted to write a show about dating. Because I was like, I've been through all these horrible things. I want to write a funny show about dating. And then, of course, Tim saw it. There's a darker aspect to it, too. It goes deep things. But I just started writing dating stories during the pandemic. Some I dreamed, some I made up. Some were loosely based on people in real life, so I don't get sued. The more stories the Knicks. And then from this, Lolo, my show was shut down because of the pandemic. Lolo's show was shut down because of the pandemic. And then, of course, when I had gone through all this, so I went and stayed with my mom for a while. And the thing about staying in any kind of family home is everything triggers memories.
Right.
And then
you revert back to that child almost.
Yes.
So it was interesting, like being with all these objects and like how they trigger memory, and then finding Lolo's hero's journey through that, where she's asking, how would I get here? Why can't I have a relationship? And while she's traveling, someone wants to get into another relationship with her. And she's like, should I do this? And then so she, this is if these walls caught, she faces the ghosts of her relationships past to figure out, and goes through this, I think, deep and beautiful and funny and shocking and costume filled. She does like 12 costume changes on stage.
That's what I was going to ask you. How many costume changes?
Well, there's about 12. Some of them are just adding or removing a piece
But it's amazing. Amazing.
That's amazing.
I mean, it goes from like jeans and a t-shirt to like this glamour outfit to just like this rock and roll outfit to, I mean, just like this. She just, my God, it's amazing.
Everything that you are, and I love that you kind of based it on A Christmas Carol.
Kinda. Yes.
Who would think to do that, Lauren? I love your head. I love the way it works.
It's kind of like Reese Witherspoon meets A Christmas Carol.
I love it.
With a spice of euphoria, because it goes dark. And what I love too about this solo show and just getting to do solo shows, which is something I resisted when I was younger. I was kind of like, solo shows are what people do when no one wants to hire them. You become what you condemn, because now I'm all about it. And I love that I have so many different interests, as you two both do. So I had taken some styling classes at FIT. I actually styled some photo shoots for some world-class artists. And it's something, I love clothes. I mean, it's how I resonate with drag. I know because of how the exterior influences the interior and how that part of yourself gets to express itself. So I got to use that part of myself. I got to write. I got to do songs. I got to do character work. I get to cry a lot in the show.
Like when you were writing these, could you see the outfit? Like, could you see, you could feel how you're dressed in that segment?
Yes, I had a very strong vision. And then Christine we worked on the costumes, and she helped. I feel like, I worked on also a book version. I have a book version of the show that I'm developing. I watched Steve Martin's masterclass. I love it. And he said, to get a great 1 hour show, have a really good 3 hour show.
Right.
So have an 8 hour audiobook's worth of material for Lolo, and then we made it 90 minutes. So I had already been working on it so much when Christine Becour started directing it. And she is so talented, magnificent, and she leveled this up. And I felt like, I'm so proud of this show. I hope I'm allowed to be as proud of it as I am.
Absolutely.
No, it's needed. You gave birth to this.
I did. It's my baby. I feel like it's my Ferrari show. And I feel like I feel so confident about it. I really wanted to touch as many people as possible. I felt like I was already on the Audubon. There's like a theme, but I was on the Audubon driving my Ferrari show. And then I was like, Christine, you want to direct it? Our mutual friend recommended her. And she was like, fuck yeah. And she jumped in the car. And she took it to the next level. Now it's like, I don't know, what's even above a Ferrari, where it's like an extra souped up Ferrari. But I feel like she is a magnificent director, and I feel like it takes so much confidence and skill to come into something, and she's just so good at like letting me cook when it's time for me to cook, and knowing exactly what to tweak and what needs to be worked on. Or like she also does acupuncture, so I think that that she's like, okay, this thing.
She's very good at zeroing in on.
But she obviously is hooked into your psyche, as Tim just said, zeroing in. But she couldn't do this unless she was really hooked into your psyche, and maybe the fact that she does acupuncture makes her more sensitive. But again, there's the chemistry between the two of you, and it's
absolutely.
I mean, how perfect.
But in addition to this, because the costumes are almost separate characters in themselves, but also multimedia.
Yeah,
you had video, you had audio, and it was just constant, and so brilliant, and moved along so brilliantly.
Yes, I'm so happy. Well. Oh, I want to we had a longer version of the show, but of course it needs to be 90 minutes max for the frame.
Right.
Which is probably a good thing. You know, we really honed it. But we really wanted it to be this roller coaster that people jump on with us. And they're like, whoa!
Roller coaster.
Want people to be spacing out. And Leanne Arnold, who's so talented, created those projections that are so beautiful. I'm not sure. We have this concept, and it's again about Buddhism. And I'm fascinated also about addiction and how that affects the brain. And Lolo has this addiction to relationships and to love and everything outside of yourself. So part of the projections, which I don't know if I should talk about it or just let people have their own experience, but it's too late now.
Look, we're on a roll here. Let's talk about it.
If these walls could talk.
Was this concept, we called it a brain cage of Lolo's karma that she couldn't escape from. And parts of her brain getting triggered by there's something outside myself that's giving me validation, and her getting triggered, and then also her memories, swiping through her memories and how those affect her present day relationships. So Leanne just did such a stunning job, because we also didn't want, sometimes I've seen shows with projections and they're very distracting, or it becomes like you're just looking at it.
But like yours is the icing on the cake.
She's so tasteful, and people sometimes forget about it, then look up and it was slowly changing, and it's also this other character there. She also did the projections for Jackson Lolo, and we won excellence in multimedia for that show. But they didn't have that award this year. Otherwise, we would have won.
I agree.
So I've got, from a business perspective, right? You have a product.
Yes.
You and I are very similar, and I'm working on my book, Becoming a Product. All right. But at the end of the day, success in this industry, defined by what they call success, is taking the product, right? And then what do we do with it? We have these runs. But how do we take the product? You've got what you have the whole package, and then you've got you. What is the next big move that you would want to do with this show?
That's a great question.
I ask myself this all the time, and that's and I chant also. So what's the next big move?
My determination is for Lolo to have an open-ended off-Broadway run.
Oh, God, me too.
An international tour, and a television show.
Right.
I see all of that. I see all of that.
I do too, Tim. Right.
And then I feel like it's hot right now because so many shows are coming out of these festivals. Like Baby Reindeer came out of Edinburgh.
Right.
Yeah.
Bag 2 came out of Edinburgh. But it's time for New York. Everyone was telling me go to Edinburgh. I'd love to. But we're in New fucking York City.
Thank you.
Right? And so we're here. And we are actually, we've been having a lot of meetings with producers.
Good.
And so more meetings than I've ever had in my life. I'm like, this is exciting.
It is exciting.
So yes, we met with several producers already. We have more coming to the Depot and to Playhouse 46. And then there's just going to be a big bidding war, or maybe they'll work together.
Yes.
They'll work together. So we'll see who the best fit is.
Absolutely.
But there's a group of people that I'm falling in love with, and I hope that it's mutual. There's a group of people that I'm like, I want them to be my producer boyfriend.
Right. And
it's fall in love and make this long-term sign the papers.
I love that, and it's so important to have that connection. Like have
I agree.
somebody that you can respect and that you enjoy working with, and I
do really
for that.
I love the plan, because as we've been talking and I listened to your background and who you are and what you've done, I personally want this out there. I want to be able to, like, say to someone who comes in from out of town, oh, you have to see this show, and this show is playing somewhere. And I think I love the launch at the Depot. You have one night there, but these run July 5th, 6th, 12th, and 14th at Playhouse 46, which is St. Luke's. I think brilliant.
On Restaurant Row here in New York.
right there. Tim and I will be there. I'm dying to see it.
Yes. Yes, we'll have special seats for you.
Tim likes his seat that he can get up and go to the bathroom from. So
I need to be on the aisle.
He wants that aisle seat. And my knee hurts. So I need where I could...
No, 2 aisle seats.
Yeah, we're good.
Right.
we're good. But no, I'm very, very excited about this and excited about you. And you know what? You are a smart girl. Edinburgh Fringe Festival is fabulous. Yeah. But God damn it, man, you are. It's like when people tell me, well, why don't you take some of what you're doing and go out to LA? Really? Yeah. You know what? People know me here. I can just imagine me going out to LA and driving from one end to the other, it taking hours. No one knows who I am, and basically starting over at this stage of the game. I would, as any of us would, if we get offered a project and it's in LA, we'll be there in a heartbeat. But I'm certainly not going to go out and look to do a reinvention there. We're in New York, kids.
Totally.
And I agree with you completely. This is New York fucking city.
Right.
I mean, anything can be done here, and we've got to remind ourselves of that, and we have to know that things like this can be done. Yeah. It's almost like we've forgotten because all the corporations have moved in and everything.
No, right, Tim, right.
Everything is money. But why not get some of that money and funnel it over into our art so that we can, that is part of it. And that's what I want to do is get a collective group of us together to create new art. And another person that I would like to include in that, who was at your show also, is the incredible Rachel Sage.
Oh, love her.
Oh my God. She's just a brilliant, brilliant artist. Singer and artist and designer.
You do it all.
She's magnificent.
Yeah.
I'm going to see her actually at Town Crier in Beacon this Friday.
Oh, sweet.
So yeah, she's so lovely.
Oh, very, very, very cool. So, you brought it up before, and now I have to delve in. You're a comedy girl. I'm a comedy girl. I love Dorothy Bishop. I'm sure you know who she is.
Do you know Dorothy?
No, we all need to really know each other.
We're part of our crew. Yeah.
And she's brilliant. She doesn't Diva show at the Triad every 6 weeks. Okay.
And what that is she in a similar way, she does at least 12
divas who you
know. 1 dozen divas on stage in front of you and changes.
Celine Dion.
Everything from Kristen.
She did Kim Kardashian the last time. I thought I would freaking die.
She'll do
Celine Dion,
Christian Chenoweth,
brilliant,
Shirley Bassey, Cher, Madonna, Barbara Streisand.
I bring this up because
you need to meet her.
I always wonder, for me as a comedy girl, I never really dated. No one got me. My husband and I were together for 38 years. Wow. He was the only straight man who ever got me. I really dated gay men, and that was it. So I think it's hard for a woman who does comedy to meet a guy. How do you feel about that?
I don't, it was interesting.
That gets you.
What?
That gets who you are.
Yeah, well, I dated, if you couldn't guess, I dated a lot for a period of time. Up until 2018, when I did my Germany tour. I broke up with my boyfriend at the time, in 2017. Then Jackie took her life. And all those things happened. I went through a really dark time. I know I'm not exactly answering your question.
No, I want to hear this.
So I didn't date. Maybe went out a couple times, but for a period of about 4 years, I barely dated because I was dealing with my health and so that was really interesting. And then I dated a couple times. But to your point, I think it's any time when a woman is really in her power.
It's
challenging.
Yes.
Because one of my exes, and it's in the show too, we got into it a lot, and I have my stuff too. But I felt like he really wanted a cheerleader, which is fair enough. There are cheerleaders out there and they're gorgeous. Right. And I got a thing for cheerleaders. Like, they're sexy. Like, if that's what he wants, he should have that. And I wish to be as supportive of my friends as possible.
Right.
Like, I just have to be creative. I call it like an affliction. Some people in my life have been like, oh, you think you're special? You think you're special? And I'm like, no, it's like an affliction. It's just, I have to.
It.
And if I don't, then I feel kind of sick. But it is interesting. Like, I thought I fell in love now I forget what year it was. If it was the year before, I was like, I'm in love. And then he was like, I don't want a relationship, but I still want you around. And then I finally had self-esteem. So I was like, no. And we didn't speak again after that. But then I was just like, okay, I'm not dating. But I said a prayer about what I wanted, and then I just let it go. And then I was having a Buddhist meeting at my apartment, and Tim's been to those. And one of my friends is a contractor. He fixes houses. He's a really talented contractor. And he was working on this guy's house whose ceiling had fallen in. And they became friends just because he was there a lot. And he invited this man to come to my house to chant. And so he just walked into my house, sort of didn't like him at first because, I don't know, it's sort of like one of those cute, and then I can write another piece as like an enemies to lovers. Reaction, didn't really like him. But then a bunch of us went out after one of the meetings, and I had to get something from someone's car, and then the only seat left was next to him. And I was like, ugh, I don't really want to sit next to him, but it would be really rude to like move the chair somewhere else. So I sat next to him, and we laughed the whole night.
See, that's important.
We laughed, and then and it was so, we really have to write about this, because then we took a walk and we were looking at wedding dresses, and he was like, if this were a movie, we'd end up getting married.
I love this guy already. Did you see this through? Great story, Lauren. And the fact that, I'm going to go back to what you said in the beginning, this was a guy whose ceiling was falling in. Yes. This is the guy for you. This is so perfect.
Yes.
Of course his ceiling was falling down.
Yeah. So, and he's also, well, I'll say hi if he's listening. Hi, Michael Shine. And he has a marketing agency called Microfame Media. And he's worked with a lot of artists and big businesses, and he's giving a lot of advice and helping with Lolo. But he was also used to be in a band, and he's very supportive. Because you know how it can also be, and I felt threatened dating artists too. Like, I've dated musicians who then they go on tour, they go to Europe.
They're gone, and you're left.
Yeah, and it feels very vulnerable. So that's also, and then sometimes people act out from that vulnerable place. You know what I mean? It's not all like, oh, they're bad. And it can be like, oh, will you still love me? I
know, but these are human things that we all feel. Okay. Yeah. He's going on tour. You're left. Maybe you're not working so much. And he is. What does that do to our ego, right?
Yes.
And then our imaginations take hold. Oh my God, he's on tour. He's doing this.
And the insecurity starts swimming in.
Right. And then
or the actuality of they're on tour, someone's wearing a short skirt,
Yeah.
That's the vision.
But Michael is really lovely and really supportive, and he really loves the show too. And he's been great about when I'm working on it a lot, I don't get to see him as much. And he just kind of sends me off and is really lovely.
But from what you're saying,
lovely. That's a good quality.
Yeah.
That he understands you need to go do this on your own. It's time for you.
So guess what, Lauren? You answered the question beautifully.
Thank you.
I can chant for your relationship.
Thank you so much. Yes. I'm going to chant for your beautiful heart and for your husband. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. But that, that's what we do. We all lift each other up at the end of the day, right? That's what it's about. And look, you met this great person.
And I'm telling you, I am so proud of you. Just everything, your spirit, your being, you've just always been yourself, and you're curious. So you explore these different avenues, and I love how you just jump in with passion and purity and love and joy and light, and I just love you.
I love you, Tim. Yeah, I loved you from the first moment I saw you.
I love this.
Really, and thank you for being on the journey with me, and how generous you are. Like, you're both very generous in terms of supporting other artists and being inclusive and asking questions, as two like real badass monsters in your field, like geniuses in your field,
Yes.
But what? We love what we do.
But something that we need to do is I need to work with you sometime.
I would love to
sing a song, to do a comedy sketch, to do something. We just want to do something.
Love. I have a couple ideas, actually.
Okay.
I'm sure you're totally full of ideas. So Tim had told me, Lauren O'Brien. I wrote your name down. I had your email down. I'm looking at the calendar. The first couple of dates weren't working or whatever, but I don't give up. And we had this wonderful show, and we all got to meet each other today. And how fabulous. July 5th, 6th, 12th, and 14th at Playhouse.
Playhouse 46.
Yeah.
Now, tell everybody how they can find you, like on social media.
Social media.
Yes. My Facebook page is Lauren O'Brien, music poet. I know it's sort of an archaic social media, but I still like it.
I love it. It's fun, right?
And I'm on Instagram, Lauren O'Brien Music, and TikTok, which I love TikTok. The kids are so creative.
It's so cool, right?
They're so cute. Like, I know weird shit happens there too, but I like the
there's lots of great stuff on TikTok.
And I'm the Lolo Show on TikTok. And by the end of this week, beginning of next week, we'll have our beautiful website that Steve Martino, who we love, photos by Becky Yee, and that'll be lolosboyfriendshow.com. So you can find everything Lolo's Boyfriend Show there.
And be sure to give all of us links and things so we can share all that on our social media as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we're connected now.
We're connected. My God, we're so technical, all of us.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Lauren, I love and adore you. I am so happy and so proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to meet you.
I'm so happy to meet you. I knew this, like, I just had a premonition that this was going to be beautiful synergy and energy. Like, I could feel it for weeks before. Like,
I could tell it from your picture. The minute, Tim had spoke volumes to you, but when you sent me your pictures, I'm like, whoa, this is a kindred spirit.
She's one of us.
One.
I can't wait to meet you in person.
I have to get these. When the tickets when all that's up, just make sure you email me. I get invited to a ton of stuff, as Tim does, and I can't even make it to half of it. So I want to get you locked and loaded on my schedule, so that I can come see that show. I really want to.
Thank you.
And everybody keep an eye out for the Lolo show.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Lolo,
Lolo's
what is it?
Lolo's
boyfriend show.
Right.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. It's always such a pleasure to see you.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone that tuned in today. We'll be back next week during our Pride Month. And there we go. Be proud. Be kind and live your best life. Thank you, everybody.
All righty.
Bye.